We might as well start right now.
Yours.
Oh, so low?
Lonely.
Oh, I know.
It's just sitting.
Lonely.
The coffee's substituting for Yasin.
I don't even know if they can
Literally.
see. Can you see yourself on the camera there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Perfect. As you can see, we have a couple guests today. One a little bit more famous than the other.
Hey, which one?
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Cousin
Connection
Podcast.
As you can see, we've got another reoccurring guest here. At this point, she's just like another co-host.
I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to pull up. And then I forgot that I was going to be on camera. So I kind of look rough today, but
Nah, don't
me every
justify it. Just be cool. This is fine. It's whatever. This is you.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I did pick this outfit. I was a little limited this morning, but
Exactly.
When you're living out of a suitcase, you kind of just make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I don't know where anything is.
See,
so
at least you have an excuse. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. You look good though. You have a actually planned
be confident
outfit.
in yourself, okay?
Thanks, Amir.
Yes,
It's like-
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine it was
But I see the
chaos from
vision.
the beginning.
I do like it, though.
Honestly, it wasn't even, I didn't put this together necessarily. I just woke up and I had to film a sponsored video. And last time I wore darker colors and they literally commented, they're like, hey, can you wear lighter colors next time? To match our aesthetic. So I was like, damn. So I just put this on. And then I realized in the morning, I forgot all of my actual blazers and overcoats. So I asked Amir and my dad was already halfway to me because I'm staying in an Airbnb. He drove back and Amir FaceTimes me and he's rummaging through my stuff. I was like, you know what? Just pick that up.
Oh, gosh.
And they came and I just threw it on. So, it wasn't very thought out, but
Hey, if it's worth the sponsor content,
It is what
it's
it is.
worth the video, okay?
That's
it's fine, okay?
yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
So, I actually feel bad that we didn't mention this already because I feel like whenever it comes to certain things that affect our community in general, especially our neighbors,
Yeah.
you should be the first to announce it, right? Or
Yeah,
not
you're
announce it, but at least speak about it. And what I'm talking about is the current situation in Sudan, which if you don't know already, essentially how it started is that in 2019, the original dictator government was kicked out and they were overthrown by two, I think, they're the military and another paramilitary group. And then, of course, once you kick out the original government, you got to have a transition to a new government, right? So they're planning that for the civilian government to come and take its place. But in the process of that, the military and that other paramilitary group that helped them ended up clashing because they disagreed about who would run the transition, who would basically run the show until a transition occurs. And unfortunately, that came to a head recently, and then those two groups are now fighting all across the country. It's not just in the main city of Khartoum, it's around the whole country. There's clashes between the groups because they're allies originally, right? So they're across the whole country working together.
Right.
And it's kind of weird if you think of that concept where you're literally friends with these people. Not friends, but you're working with these people
Allies.
one day and literally the next day you're killing each other.
Yeah, that's wild.
I feel like a lot of corruption like that happens all over Africa. Well, all over the world in general.
Yeah.
But because obviously we're African, it's more apparent to
I
us
literally
because we
wrote
see
that
it in our
down.
own country.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ethiopia, but also seeing it in Sudan and in many other countries in Africa.
Yeah.
I follow one of my friends, her name's Sahar. She was actually in Sudan when it happened. She's Canadian, but she was in Sudan. I think she had moved there a couple of years ago. So she was there while it all happened, and she was posting on stories real live updates and
oh my God.
trying to figure out how she was going to get out of Sudan and literally just every day it was different updates of hey, there's this bus leaving this time if people want to get there, or we're looking for this person, this is what he looks like, he left to get funds or something. And then
her family members or just
family
people?
members and just people she knew and stuff, basically just trying to find missing persons that they don't know what happened to them. And because they cut off the internet, there was no way of contacting anyone. So it was really crazy to see it in real time. And I have to admit, I'm not the most educated with all of it, but just obviously seeing people that I won't say close to, but people that I know that I'm familiar with, and seeing all of that happen live, it was just kind of insane. And alhamdulillah, she made it out and her family is safe as well. But not everyone was lucky.
I was just going to say that she's lucky and fortunate enough that she's a Canadian citizen and can leave and has the option to, but for those that are born and raised in Sudan and don't really have the funds or the means, or they just are stuck there for whatever reason. Like, it's very unfortunate. And, you know, obviously anytime we really talk about any sort of tragedy that is occurring or any sort of conflict that's occurring in any sort of Muslim country, or just anything that we are made aware of and that we cover on this podcast, like, we always make dua for them. And if we find any like ways to donate or just ways to help, you know, I'll link it in the description below, so that you guys can partake in that as well. But pray for our Sudanese brothers and sisters.
But one note I wanted to go back to that Gizman or Aisha mentioned.
Just call me Gizman.
I know, like, you're trying so hard. You don't even say it right too, Aisha.
I don't. It's like something in his being that can't say it. Like,
can't, okay.
Is that your speech impediment?
It's like how I
coming out.
Probably, honestly. It's like how I say, what's the other one?
You can't say Huda.
Huda or the Huda.
At least you didn't say it with a khat this time.
But okay. But like, why do you guys think like the reason that this happens in a lot of African countries, because this isn't new, like it's happened in so many other African countries at this point. Do you think it's like a byproduct of like colonialism, or is it something else?
I think
is it like a lack of resources? What is it?
I think it can be a lack of resources, but I think ultimately it's just human error. Like, like naturally, obviously we're not perfect, but there's also this like ego that a lot of humans have, and letting go of that ego, not letting go of that ego leads to a lot of clashes. So I think like at the core of it, that's, you know, at the end, you know, it's humans fighting over power and like not agreeing with each other. Unfortunately, they resort to violence and, you know, kill innocent humans in the process.
Yeah. But do you think that, like, this is a very deep question, okay? So I'm not going to expect, you know, you don't have to answer like, you know,
not you crazy, trying to like downplay our intelligence.
No. I'm just saying like, because colonialism is such a big and like a deep hole to go down.
Yeah.
But I feel that because wait, first off, was Sudan ever
colonized?
Colonized? I think they were.
Let me fact check.
Yeah, let's fact check that real quick. Okay.
Before we
continue.
Right.
Because we always talk about how like, oh, Ethiopia, we're the only country that hasn't really been fully colonized, even though we did have like a period where the Italians came in.
Yeah.
But they kind of just built a couple things and left because they're like,
UK and Egypt once ruled present-day Sudan and South Sudan through a dual colonial government.
Actually, yeah, because there was that whole movie made on Sudan like 20 years ago with like Don Cheadle.
Who?
Yeah, you don't know? Search up Don Cheadle and Sudan. It was a very famous movie. You don't remember this?
Don Cheadle?
What?
What did you say?
Don Cheadle?
Is that not what you said?
No.
What'd you say?
Don Cheadle.
Oh.
Y'all don't know Don Cheadle?
Cheadle?
What?
This guy. You mean the Blood Diamonds movie?
Is it Blood Diamonds?
I did not know that was his name.
No.
I mean,
I literally.
I don't see him. I was thinking of a white guy.
Like almost all black movies, or like when there needs to be a black person. But I've never known his name.
Me neither.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's a famous. He's like a very popular actor. Okay.
Well, yes, I know that.
Yeah.
I know his face, but I've never heard.
But
I don't know a lot of actors.
It's funny how I remember
You
like
mean Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah.
That wasn't in Sudan. That was in Rwanda.
Okay, let's cut out.
Damn.
Let's cut out that part. Wait, where was Rwanda? Oh wait, no.
It's in
listen.
No, wait. Okay, guys. Okay.
Did you watch the movie?
I'm a nerd for like other things, but geography is not my thing. I know I'm from Ethiopia, but like the rest of the world, geography is not my thing. Okay.
Isn't Rwanda East Africa?
I'm gonna ask a very dumb question. I'm gonna ask a very dumb question. Okay.
What?
Is Rwanda a country?
Okay, I knew it was East Africa.
Is it a country?
Yeah.
It is, Amir. It's in East Africa.
Rwanda, the country. It's not a city.
It's a country, yeah.
Okay, my bad.
You've never heard of like Rwandan people?
So it's like
but I thought they were like from a city.
It's it's like to the northwest of Tanzania.
Yeah.
In between like the Republic of Congo.
You know what? I knew this. I knew this information. Okay, I just had a brain fart.
It's close-ish to South Sudan if you see it.
Okay. So yeah. So it's maybe not related to that. Okay, but I knew that there was like a conflict between like North Sudan and South Sudan at one point.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. There was something made on that, but I just can't remember what it was. But yeah, I think I was going back to the colonialism thing. I think that because like they stripped them of so many resources, it was almost like the crabs in a bucket scenario. You're stuck with that. Do you guys know about the crabs in a bucket scenario? Where basically like, if they see someone like getting out, they pull them back down because they want to be on top. So like they're all pulling each other down, trying to get to the top. And I feel like because of those lack of resources and like poverty and all of that compounded on top of each other has led to people thinking of more of like a me mentality, especially in Africa.
Of the fittest.
Yeah, well, not even survival of the fittest, like
kind of,
sort of, but like because they will like try and like dig. If they can't beat you physically, they'll like find another way to get you, kind of thing.
That's
right?
Pretty messed up stuff.
Yeah, so I feel like because of that,
a
lot of these countries have the people in these countries have a mentality where they're like it's I have to focus on me because I don't know where I'm gonna get my next meal. I don't know where I'm gonna get my next
that's true
dollar. So you kind of have to fight for your resources or for your sustenance.
Yeah, and I feel like the only way that they know how, like if you have wealth and you then you kind of sort of have power.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then your options are either to somehow infiltrate those the wealthy or rebel against them to get power.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
But like to rebel, it requires everybody kind of work together. Yeah. But when you're fighting when you're not fighting, but when you're looking just for your next meal, it's hard to gather a lot of people together like that, right? Like you have to have a certain amount of like affluence, or not? Is that the word, affluence? Like where basically everybody's like somewhat okay to be able to gather them all together and like make a proper
group
or like a have a real impact on like making a change. But it's hard to do that when everybody's in poverty and like it's, I don't know. This is just something I'm bringing over from my own biases from what I've seen in Ethiopia. So it could be very different in Sudan. So I'll stop there. But it just, I just can't help but think like this is happening all over Africa. Like, why is the military doing this? And I think that's a part of it. But
could I ask you guys a follow-up question?
What?
Would you guys feel like intervention from Western government, whether it's the U.S., any government in North America or the U.K. or any like powerhouse country, like would you guys want to see that to help them, or do you feel like that's like just history repeating itself in terms of?
I wouldn't trust any Western countries. Like maybe if anything, like I would trust like Turkey or something, or like something that like that's a little less secular, even though Turkey is still pretty secular, at least the government somewhat. I would trust them more than the Western government, because the Western governments have a history of just really being interested in places if they have a certain amount of resources
and exploiting them.
But you know what's crazy is like when you think of countries in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, they're so rich and they have these extravagant like plans of building whatever type of futuristic buildings in the next 15-20 years. But like and maybe they're donating on the low and we just don't know, but outwardly they ain't helping nobody but themselves. That's very sad to see.
All of it is just about incentive, right? Like what are you going to get back from it? That's the only thing that's going to move a government. If they know that's why probably they haven't mentioned Sudan like that, or if anything, they probably made like a note or like a little comment about it. But until there's an incentive and there's like something they can get out of it, they're not going to do anything.
They didn't even help the people of Palestine, so that's sad.
Buddy, the just saying, okay.
That's a whole other topic.
I'm not trying to get demonetized. Nothing. Actually, we mentioned plenty enough about that. But
I know.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, let's just pray for the people of Sudan.
Yes.
Hopefully, this conflict is resolved as soon as possible. So
with the least amount of additional casualties. Yeah,
because the numbers that I was seeing on there, like it said it was very low, but I think that was the reported numbers. Like it was saying like 500 deaths And
That's
definitely
a lot,
more
though.
than that.
and like I think 1,000 people injured, and 50,000 people displaced. But I'm pretty sure like it's a lot more than that. It's just hard to kind of collect that information, right?
Yeah.
But
that's so sad.
yeah, again, we want to pray for the people of Sudan, and hopefully things get better soon, inshallah. Can you actually pass me my thing? I put down a lot of notes, but I can't remember what they were.
You mean my phone?
Oh, you know what I mean. The doc, okay.
I'm just kidding. Hold on, I have to unlock it.
Oh, shoot. I'm going to get killed for that Rwanda comment. Yo.
You know, I actually have a lot of followers from Rwanda.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm looking,
no.
sometimes when I'm looking through my
I might have
like
that out
follower
there.
amount, or not follower amount, my
Analytics?
analytics, especially on YouTube, like Rwanda is like one of the top.
That's
Which is
kind of
very
cool.
interesting. I know. I think that's why I knew it was in East Africa, because I was like, oh, Rwandan people, like.
Guys,
Imagine
you
you
know
did,
what?
like,
Sometimes I need to
African-
look dumb too, okay? That's what it is. I'm playing, Sada. I'm playing.
That's
okay.
crazy.
Y'all hear that?
Let's get a little existential here, guys, okay? I was watching a TikTok the other day, and there was a lady who was reminiscing on like a video of her with her family doing at like a birthday party. Everyone was there, everyone she could remember, like when they're all kids and stuff, or all her aunts and uncles or whatever. And she's like, she didn't know that was going to be the last time. And when she said that comment without context, like everyone knew in the comments, everyone knew what she meant by the last time, right? So do you guys ever think about the last time?
All day, every day.
Yeah. You know, the first thing that comes to mind is like our Eid barbecues.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that was like the beginning of the end, which is like really sad, because that was like I think towards the end of my high school.
Yeah. The last big barbecue was right before you did your summer abroad. Do you remember that one at my house?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, but
Did we
not.
do one
I feel like
after
not
that?
even like everyone was there. Like the Eid barbecues, like people that I mean, you know, people
Yeah, I
we
know.
barely talk to were there.
I know.
And like
I do remember that.
But yeah, I do remember that that Eid barbecue. I have a vlog on it actually. Or
Yeah.
not Eid one. Sorry, the going away barbecue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like you've had other ones.
I don't think I was
too.
vlogging back then when I was doing the Eid barbecues. I don't.
You know what? I
believe.
have like Facebook albums that are now private.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I found pictures from that.
Like, do you remember like we set up like a tarp outside for like
Yeah.
the mom and dads?
Yeah.
And like with like what's it called? We put carpets down and like we put makhadda, like pillows for people to
lit.
relax. Yeah. And there was
Remember
like
that one summer
75
I
people in this
surprised
house.
you guys?
Oh my god, yeah.
And we were like crying.
Yeah.
Your mom like almost had a heart attack.
I remember. I like literally remember that. Like it's like a core memory.
Me too. Because I don't know. I don't think I've ever told you guys this story, but I was like, when was that? 2012.
2012. Yeah, that makes sense.
So long ago.
Yeah, you were in Ethiopia for like what 4 months? Like,
I
it was a
was-
long periodic time.
I was in Ethiopia for a
What
while.
did you say? what?
It's a Jackie Aina reference. If you know, you know.
Did you say parallelly time?
Long periodically time.
Periodically. What is that? She's trying to say periodically, but
no,
I think
you've
she's
never seen that.
No.
There was I think it was a Vine like years ago.
Yeah.
There was like a black woman and she was making something and she was trying to like sound smart, I guess, or just like talking, and she just said periodically like in the middle of her sentence, or it didn't make sense.
We have to sit out here and wait a long periodically time. The buses are nasty. The buses are filthy.
and then like in Jackie Aina's videos, like for a while, she would always just randomly be like, "Man, I've been using this for a long periodically time." And like, anyways, if you know, you know.
That's
You know,
actually
you know.
so funny.
But
yeah. And so I thought I was going to miss Eid because I was flying back to Toronto. Like, I was supposed to be here the day before Eid.
Yeah.
But then my flight got canceled and I was stuck in Bahrain. That's a whole other story time, another day. When we get Sabri on, finally, he
I'm
can
pretty
tell
sure.
her.
Have you mentioned the Bahrain story? No.
No. we
Oh,
never
really?
have.
Okay. You kind of hinted to it before, I think.
But yeah, basically, I got stuck in Bahrain for like 24 hours or less than that, I think. But I managed to get on a flight home and I made it like the morning of Eid. But like nobody knew except for, I think my dad picked me up. So he brought me home and they were like, "We didn't tell anyone that you're here." And I was like, "Well, shouldn't we tell them? Like, isn't there like an Eid barbecue?" And they're like, "No, it's okay. Just hide in the car. We'll just bring you there and you'll surprise everybody." And so I was like, all right. And I just remember like hiding in the back seat, and I'm pretty sure we picked up like Nabat, and she like almost shat herself when she opened the door because she's like, oh my God, what the hell?
Oh my God.
So then when we got here, I remember coming through the back, and your mom was the first, and then when she screamed, you came running, and you were like, oh my God.
Because I thought she like fell or something.
And yeah, that was a really fun Eid.
Yeah. How long were you in Ethiopia for though?
That time I was there for 7 weeks.
Oh, dang. I felt like much longer. At one point you were there for like 4 months though, right?
That was like when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then in 2016 I was there for 2 months.
Okay.
Good times.
Can you believe we will never probably get the opportunity to like take long vacations like that again?
I mean, we can when we're on mat leave.
Unless like you like, oh, I guess so. Well, like, but like, do you want to travel when you're on mat leave?
When your kid's old and safe enough to travel.
At that point, you're back to work. What?
Yeah,
she
we literally we traveled. We were like 11 months.
You were 1.
No, but like I can't take a long vacation like that.
Yeah,
there's paternity leave.
Unless like I take I quit my job.
No, you could take paternity leave.
Yeah, or unpaid leave.
Yeah,
it's a thing you allowed.
Yeah,
you could take paternity leave though. You get like up to 6 months or something, right?
Yeah.
But that has to be split between your...
Yeah.
So like your wife would get like a year and you could get like 6 months.
Which is a pretty sweet trade-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
would you
like
be able to overlap it though?
Can it overlap? That I don't know. But what he could do is like... his wife could be on mat leave and he could just take vacation and then
the HR side, Sarah?
Oh yeah.
No, this is like you should know this.
I know,
this is your employment rights.
Yeah.
No, but I guess it depends on the company you work for too. Like if you work for like a smaller company where it's you and one other guy, it's like leaving for 6 months. Like okay,
it's okay. They'll hire someone on contract.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess so.
Give someone else an opportunity to make money.
Exactly.
But what was I getting back to?
Do you think about the last time?
I overthink everything. But I never thought about it at the time. Like, did you guys think about it at the time? Like, oh, this might be the last time, but like, do you ever think like this thing happening now? Yeah, this thing happening right now is like, you feel like it's not going to happen again. Like, this is a once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, not once in a lifetime, but like, this is like the last time we'll see this.
Yeah, I think like, don't you ever in those moments where you could be like in a room full of people, you just like stop.
Yeah.
And you take in the moment.
I feel like I'm more like aware of it now. But back then it was just like living, you know, but now I'm more aware of like, I think especially since I like don't live here anymore.
Yeah.
Every single time I'm in somewhere, I'm like, oh, this could be the last time, or like this is going to be like a memory that, you know, like something like that. But I guess in the moment it wasn't necessarily that. It was just us like enjoying life.
I don't know. I feel like I've always kind of had that in the back of my mind. Like whenever, like if we were just like having so much fun, which we always do. So.
Yeah. Very true.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of our gatherings where we could literally just be sitting in a room and having conversation and we're having the time of our lives.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just like sit there and take in the moment. I'm like, this could be the last time we're all together.
It's like you pretend you go back into like your movie or what's it called?
Main character or whatever. No,
well, that, but like that when you imagine yourself in a music video, you know, you're just like sitting there and everything's going in slow motion around you, and you're just like watching it from like third person.
That's literally what it is. Like your inner dialogue is just like, and then and it's like narrating your whole life right then and there. But I think about it more like when I'm traveling, like especially now, like if I'm visiting you, and. As of recently, like in the last 6 months, I've seen you. I've been to LA 3 times.
Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's been a lot.
That was like me when she first moved. I was just going back and forth.
Yeah. Like every 2 or 3 months, like, and every time I would see her, I'd
how
be
it
like,
should be.
I know, right? Don't worry, it is. It's gonna be like this. Very soon, I'm gonna be like, just give me a copy of your key.
Exactly.
I'll just show up. But yeah. So like anytime I'm traveling. Or even though I like when we part, like I still hug you, like, you know, inshallah we see each other soon.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, like I'll see you in 2 months. Like
yeah.
But you know, I don't know. I feel like I think about it all the time.
Do you have a core memory or like a
core memory? Yeah, like those things, like the gatherings, like Eid lunches or the barbecue. But like that's the one thing. My memory is like so trash that I tend to forget a lot of these things.
That's
right?
Sad.
Which is both a curse and a blessing. Like people forget, you know, having not bad memory, but just having a memory that being able to forget is also a blessing in itself.
True.
People don't realize that.
That's true.
Because like if you remembered everything just like it happened yesterday, like all of us would be like balls crying on the floor, like curled in a ball on the floor, right? Because then you remember like all the deaths, all the things you might have missed, like everything bad that might have happened to you. But, you know, sometimes it's good to forget. And then, you know, you have videos to look back on the good things that happened. And it seems like whenever you like look, maybe in that moment, whatever mindset you're in, like it wasn't the best. But then when you look back at it on a video, you're like, oh, you know what? Things were good then, you know, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's why I really enjoy vlogging.
Yeah, I always watch your
regardless
old vlogs.
of like whatever I'm going through in life. Like I just always love just being able to look back and be like, what was I, you know, like I still was enjoying life regardless of what I was dealing with. Like what was I doing, you know, 6 years ago,
right,
in the summer, you know, and I can look back at that, which I think is really cool. Like it's kind of like, I mean, my dad was like the OG vlogger, you know, so we have like hundreds, well, maybe not hundreds, but we have a lot of videos of just like doing random things in the house. Like literally my dad's just home from work one day and we're just playing around like, and he's not saying a word, but like we have video diary of
just
it.
Silently watching us.
Silently watching us fight, you know, watching me fall off a little rocking horse, like all this. So it's really nice to at least have those memories because it's like, that's not stuff that we'd obviously ever remember, but seeing it is like, I don't know, just like it gives you an appreciation for life and like all the moments that you create every day.
Exactly. And now I feel like if you want to have those continue to create those core memories, you have to put so much more effort into doing those things. Like how last year we did the cabin trip, like that we like purposely had to get everyone together, like people that literally live across the world, to get them all at the perfect time to like create. And it wasn't even everyone; it was just as many people as we can get to create this like core memory.
We need to do that again this year.
Yeah, I really enjoy
Or like at least every other year. But I
remember it doesn't always even have to be in Toronto. Like, let's go.
Yeah, somewhere else. I just remember Nabat's like always trying to like make that trip happen.
I know.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to book this place and whoever comes.
Right.
And I honestly feel like that is what actually pushed people to be like, okay, fine, let's like do this.
Yeah.
Because like otherwise we're just sitting ducks. Like
I feel like in our group of friends, like especially back in the day when we did the barbecues, like you and I were always the planners.
Exactly.
And then you moved away, so then it fell on me and I was like, damn, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't know if like those of you that have large groups of friends or large groups of cousins, I feel like it's like this with a lot of big groups. Like everyone is so indecisive on if they want to come, or you'll be like, hey guys, do you want to do this? Who's coming? Oh, if we talk about like the planning pet peeves, that's the one question that I'm like, don't ask me who's coming.
Because it's just, I know.
Like, you can either make it or you can't. That's literally it.
Yeah, like that's if you put a list together of like pet peeves, that would probably be top 5.
Yeah. Who's coming?
For sure.
Who's gonna be there?
Or like if you know someone's free and you ask them, okay, let's do this thing like right now, just spur of the moment. Because I'm a very like I like to do things spur of the moment a lot of times.
Yeah, you do be doing.
And they say like no, I'm like, why? You have all the time you want. It's like, but I guess I in the same vein am like, sometimes I just don't like plans being thrown on me, so I have to put myself in their shoes at the same time. But then I think it's like such a simple thing, so I go back and forth in my head about it. But
it depends on the person. Like if it's another spontaneous person, I'm sure they would have been like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Don't worry. I have like a few friends that y'all don't know, but you know, just high school friends, whatever, that I can kind of do that with. So I still have that little thing that I can go
ones
to.
You see like every 17 months.
Exactly. Hey, every 6 months. Okay, it's still good. It's still
every
good.
time a new Marvel movie comes out.
Literally. Hey,
anytime.
They my dogs. Okay, they came out
anytime.
Day 1.
Your parents call me and they're like, "Where's Amir?" I'm like, "He's probably at the movies with his friends."
Yeah, sometimes I be not telling anyone where I'm going, and I'll be gone for 3-4 hours. But most of the time, if I'm gone for 3-4 hours, I'm probably at the movies, guys. That's what it is. Yeah.
That's true.
I feel like our group has kind of gotten better though. I think it also has to do with the fact that like majority of us have like good stable jobs now. Yeah, so we have the funds to actually say yes, because that's obviously very important. Yeah. But I think like I feel like you know that whole term of like, oh, the trip made it out the group chat. Like I feel like a lot of our trips have been making it out of the group chat lately, and like you know. I'm proud of that. Like we made the Mexico trip. Like I think that was our first international trip together that we actually planned. Yeah, sorry. We'll have to, you know what? We'll plan one this year, inshallah.
Yeah.
Maybe like closer to the end of the year.
Yeah,
or something, when you guys have more vacation days.
Yeah.
But
that was like, that's another core memory.
Yeah.
Where I was really like, oh my God, this was like, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think just like, just making I'm in the season of life where I'm like, I'll say yes and then figure out the details later.
Yeah.
So like if anyone that knows me and has planned trips with me, like I'm a very last minute booker. Like I will book my flight like a day or a couple days before.
That's true. That's true.
Because technically I don't necessarily know what my schedule is going to be like. So like I could say, I'm free right now for 3 months ahead. Yeah. But in 3 months I might have something to do. Right. So I just kind of like wait until the end and I'm just like, it's going to happen. Rarely have I ever had to back out of something. So, you know, inshallah, it just stays that way.
But do you guys also think, just bring it back to it, do you guys think that's going to be harder in the future? Like, okay, back then our families were bigger, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, like I know the family's pretty much the same size, but like, just because of where we live, like we live in a city where it's kind of hard to even live here anymore. So people are kind of just moving away.
Yeah.
And like, as people are like getting married and maybe they're moving to different places and they get married.
she didn't move because of marriage.
I know, but
though,
you know, it's like, but like when you think about your kids' future, like their upbringing, do you ever feel like sad or not sad, but you feel, kind of sad that they're going to miss out on that like large family gathering type of lifestyle that we had, because it was like every day we were at someone's house and it was a bunch of us, because actually ironically enough the lack of resources and the lack of like funds just made because everybody couldn't go out, like our parents or whatever, they just all went to each other's houses and just hung out together with all the kids there.
Well, the way that I see it, I kind of have this mentality of like, okay, Gizman's in LA, but then that means my kids get to go to LA in the summertime.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
but
her kids will come here. Like,
but then those kids won't like grow up together. They won't have that friend group that we had, because we have the friend group because we're all family and we like kind of literally grew up as babies together, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of like, you know, well,
you know what though, we're in a very different climate now because you know we basically live virtually.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole chronically online thing, like that's starting to become everyone. We are online all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like the gaps that normally would have been filled with like our weekend like sleepovers or like, you know, hanging out at people's houses, like that's filled by social media. Constantly talking. Like the times that we weren't together, we wouldn't talk for like a whole week or two.
Yeah.
But now we can talk to each other every single day if we wanted.
But don't you feel like that's like replacing vegetables with like sugar?
Well, of course, but that's what I'm saying.
It feels good right away, but it's like bad over a long period of time.
I don't think it'll be bad. I think it'll just force our children to like grow separately, because I feel like we were very much dependent on each other growing up, which isn't a bad thing. For some people, it might have been a bad thing, but generally, you know, obviously it made us stronger, but it can also like hinder your growth sometimes and keep you in like one state of mind. But I think like having refreshing, you know, opportunities to like meet different people all around the world and then coming together and being like, this is my family, you know? I think in that sense, like you have to work a little bit harder to appreciate the people that are actually in your life, as opposed to just like, oh yeah, because you know what, it happens now. It's like people ask you, or like, how are you related? And you might just be like, oh, we kind of grew up together, but like, you know, we grew up together like in Sunday school, but we haven't really seen each other for years. But like, yeah that's kind of you know, it's like interesting relationships to explain to people. But like when you're actually fostering that friendship and like actually making time for it and like the family dynamics and stuff, instead of like your parents forcing you guys in a room together, it kind of makes the bond stronger, in my opinion.
I feel like also that's kind of now instead of family, that's kind of shifted to, and even we had it back then, is like shifted more to like the Saturday classes and stuff, because I still see it since I go to the Saturday school every weekend to see lessons. I see the kids, how they interact with each other. I'm like, okay, so they still have that third place for a lot of these kids, because they always talk about the third place, which is going missing in a lot of places. but we still sort of have it in our community where we have the musalla and the Saturday school where the kids can meet and like be good influences on each other essentially. So I'm not too worried. Like I understand that now we're in a different climate. I've accepted it now and realized that it's just moved to a different.
Were you sad at one point?
No, but like it's something I think about. You know, you always think about these things, right? You contemplate these things and then you find the answer, or at least you try and look for a good answer to it.
Yeah,
like what are, because you always, even though we don't have kids, you think about, okay, so like if I did have a kid like right now, what kind of environment would they grow up in? What friends would they have?
I think about it like, remember that one time I almost moved to Australia? Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, imagine if I actually did. And I had to raise my kids by myself without any of my first cousins. Like, I think a little part of me would die a little bit. So, like, in that sense, I'm grateful that I'm here. But I don't know where life is going to lead me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I know for myself that, like, I'm going to put in that effort to make sure that our kids, inshallah, will have the same bond that we have. Where, like, I don't look at you guys as just like, oh yeah, that's my mom's sister's kids. Like, no, these are my siblings. Like, we have core memories as children, like teenagers, and we like traveled the world together how many times? You know what I mean? So inshallah, our kids will have that same bond, and that goes for everyone really in our group of friends.
Or we could just do what some other families do, and they literally like have a football team of kids, and they just all become each other's friends.
So you don't want to?
No,
you don't want your kids to be friends with our kids?
That sounds chaos.
I know.
Well, you guys don't want to, you know, okay, maybe a soccer team, you know, a little bit less.
Says the person who doesn't
basketball
have to deal
team,
with pregnancy.
six mans on court.
Right.
Okay, but yeah,
I do think of that though, being in LA especially. I think it's also made me toy with the idea of, I mean, actually, I've always said this, but like getting a property here so that I could actually spend like summers here versus, you know, and then like when it gets cold, I leave and live that like bi-coastal life and like, you know.
But that'll be hard with kids, right? Unless you homeschool them.
Yeah, either homeschool or like, you know, they get like 2 months off during the summer and then another like month off usually during the holiday season. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about the school part.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'll figure it out somehow. I was like, oh yeah, kids have school. I graduated and then totally forgot about education.
No, they're just going to be coming here for all the full summer. That's it.
I actually wonder like how, I guess, homeschool, but I wonder how that would happen.
Or maybe we'll move into a time where there's like online school. Like it's like being in person is just strictly optional.
Yeah, that's true.
Lucky ass kids.
We'll see.
By that point, they'll have like AI teachers.
Yeah, they might.
Or they might just have a chip in their brain that tells them everything. No need for school anymore.
I don't know.
Okay, so I learned a new thing on TikTok, and I don't know how I didn't put this together initially. Okay, so I was scrolling, and I found an interesting fact here. And you know, in university, how like in graduating they wear like a gown, they have a cap. You saw this too, right?
I didn't see this one.
Yeah, they have like a gown, they have the cap, and they have the tassel, whatever. Where do you think that comes from?
Well, I saw it now.
Oh, you saw it? Okay. Well, that actually comes from the influence of the early universities that were in Islamic nations, because of course, you know, the first university ever to be established was by actually a Muslim woman in Morocco called Fatima. I forget her full name.
I knew that. I think I learned that from you when you went.
I never said that.
Really?
I feel like you did.
You learned it from me. Don't worry. You learned
when you went and you did your study.
No, you learned it from me. You learned it from me.
No, it was actually from her. Sorry.
Okay, she didn't remember. I'm just saying.
Forget,
Well, because of that fact, like, of course, naturally, the Muslim garb is like the qamis with the
actually the what's it called? Sorry to cut you off, but the Moroccan qamis or thobe is actually a robe. A lot of the Moroccan ones, like they have, you know, that like piece.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
that little piece that goes over. I don't know exactly what that thing is called. I think it's mainly used for like when it's colder.
Actually, yeah, because I have what happened?
I was gonna find.
Oh, your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, funny enough, like I have a Moroccan qamis, and it's actually like thicker. It doesn't have the rope, but it has like a slit in the middle. It looks like it could be opened up at some point. But yeah, to get back to that, so because the traditional Muslim garb is like the qamis with the kaloita, or in what do you call that in Arabic? Qalanswa. And this, because there were a lot of European students who would come over to the Arabian Peninsula to go to the universities there, they liked this style of clothing and they brought it back with them. because they saw it as like something of like a higher status, because usually the scholars would wear it. So they took this and actually made it part of their tradition in universities, that whenever someone graduated, they would wear the kameez.
Because they're a scholar?
Yeah. And then because they're a scholar in whatever they've learned.
Yes.
And the hat actually is supposed to represent the Quran. So you know how it has a large square? That's supposed to represent the Quran, because the Quran is like the highest form of like knowledge. It's like the most respected form of knowledge. And the tassel actually comes from your bookmark in the Quran. So you know how you see the tassel coming off the hat? That's actually to represent the bookmark that used to be in there. The Europeans have just flattened it out to make it flat and put the tassel on there, but it's still kind of like an homage to that.
Americans, you hear that?
Yeah, and then
your graduation gowns are inspired by Islam.
It's funny how like all these people who are like anti-Islam or like have kind of had this like negative, not thought, but prejudice towards Islam, and they never realized like for years and years their own scholars, their own students have been like putting on this traditional Islamic garb and the hat and everything. Of course they've changed a little bit, but it still looks very similar to the thobe.
A lot of the hatred or the dislike towards Islam is mainly just due to ignorance.
Yeah, and ironically enough, we are the ones who gave them the knowledge initially, right?
Like, because they are ignorant about what Islam actually is, there's that fear of the unknown, and like fear of whatever they're being fed by mainstream media. Yeah,
but another ironic thing is that like, or something I realize is that if you look into like a lot of these like fantasy movies or just like movies in general, what do you see a lot of like the well-respected characters wearing, especially in like Harry Potter or like any of these fantasy, they always wear like the long gown, and they're always wearing like some type of head dress that looks head covering that looks very similar to the one that you see like sheikhs wearing, or scholars wearing in those older paintings, or even now these days, right? So it's crazy how you see its influence in all of art and culture, and it all comes down to like the traditional Islamic gowns that we used to wear, or that we still wear to this day. And I don't know, that was just an interesting fact that I found on the internet.
It makes sense because the Ottoman Empire was so grand, you know, and it like, what did it took over the majority of Europe, right? Or like,
I believe so, yeah.
Maybe not the northern parts.
A lot of like Russia too, like the Turkic people were like going across there. Yeah,
I don't. That's not a racial term, is it? Right?
Spaniards? I don't think so. Yeah.
And like,
but Spain
Portugal
has a huge, like a lot of the mosques there. Unfortunately, they got kicked out in like, I think like 1700.
But a lot of the churches have like Islamic calligraphy.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I remember when I was in Portugal, I went to Lisbon, and there's like this really, it was a hike, honestly, but like there's these 3 castles that you can visit, and they're really beautiful, very colorful. I forget the names of it, but you could only really visit 2 for some reason, and I didn't really understand why. But you could see the other castle from the distance, and it was like this like, I can't remember if it was black or like, it was just a large castle. Like it was probably bigger than the other 2. And they called it the Moor Castle. And the Moors were actually Muslims of like the Ottoman Empire. I believe the Ottoman Empire, but basically like they're the Moors controlled or ruled the Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, like all those areas. But I'm like, I wonder why they only closed off that castle. Like you weren't even able to get to it somehow. But I wonder, like, is it because, well, I mean, it probably is because it like has a lot of Islamic history, and like, you know, just architecture and stuff like that. But I just found that so interesting because they would point it out, and even a lot of the museums that I went to, pretty much all of them, like when describing the architecture in Spain and Portugal and stuff, they all stemmed from Islam. Like everything, majority of the architecture that you see in Spain and Portugal stems from Islam, and like when the Moors like ruled that area, but like they try to suppress it. So I'm interested, like when we go back to Portugal, inshallah, like I want to like actually note all of that, because I only noticed it I had no idea of this history. I only noticed it when I was there because I would look up at, the buildings and like the apartments.
Oh, you didn't know
and
that
stuff.
There was Islamic
I didn't think in Portugal.
Yeah, me
So
neither.
anytime I would look up, I would see calligraphy on like random streets and like
Oh.
like in the ancient, like in the older like buildings and stuff like that. I would see calligraphy everywhere and like the tiles and everything looked like the
That's
Moroccan
so
tiles.
cool.
So I was just kind of like, and then when I went to a random museum, I saw like they even had a grave actually, which is really interesting. They showed like what the Islamic graves look like, and it was like a dug grave, and then they put glass over it so you could like see over it, and then like they explained the practices and
Did it
stuff
have
like
like
that.
the sides open, like the?
I can't exactly remember, but I do remember it was like an open thing. But yeah, it was
That's
really
cool.
interesting.
I want to go check it out now.
Yeah,
Wait, did you? But you knew that like Portugal at one point was run,
No, I had no
or
idea.
Spain in general was.
I
run
knew
by
Spain.
Muslims.
Yeah. All of Spain was. The end. I think it used to be called Andalusia or like something like that. And a lot of like the reason why a lot of like Spanish countries or Spanish words have like el in front of it, it's actually al.
No way.
Yeah, isn't that so crazy?
I did not like put two and two together.
Me neither. The el because Islam had a major influence on Spanish culture. Well, not culture. I don't want to say culture, but like that's who was
Maybe their
ruling before.
language, right?
The el and stuff. It stemmed from al.
Did you know that?
I knew about
believe,
this because
yeah.
there was a guy on TikTok again who
TikTok
broke down
University.
the linguistics of Spanish. No, but that was there's a lot of influence, a lot of Islamic influence in the world that people just, I guess it's been kind of like, what do you call it when something is like changed slightly over time?
Altered over time.
It's been so altered over time that it's kind of lost that connection, but you
Yeah.
can still see like little
remnants
of it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yo, I'm actually like really interested to check it out now.
And
like the architecture in Morocco and Spain and
Very
Portugal
similar?
actually very similar.
Oh,
All the tiling, everything.
well,
it's
like
the
you can
same.
literally see, can't you see Morocco from Spain or Portugal?
Well,
Like
yeah,
it's
the
literally
very tips. Yeah,
the very
it's kind of
tips
like
there.
yeah. I mean, I don't know what I was gonna say.
It's like
like
it's like
Turkey
it's like
and,
in Greece how they have Cyprus and across from it you can see.
I'm not 100%, but
Okay.
but it's kind of like well, I guess there's no body of water in between it, but like Detroit and Toronto.
Yeah, I
or
guess
New
so.
York and New Jersey.
Yeah, yeah, it's not far from each other. The very tip of Morocco. And
Yeah.
you can take
Ferry.
ferry over.
Oh,
Yeah,
I wonder if you could swim it.
probably not. There's
Yeah.
sharks.
Are there?
It's a sea.
Yeah, but like would they be like in the main
It's a
area?
sea. Why wouldn't they be there?
They won't
Yeah.
touch me. They'll be fine. Whatever.
all right, go do
Okay.
it. Let us
Okay,
know
we'll
how
do
it
that
goes.
next time we go.
Yeah, you will do that.
Okay, and before we continue on to the next topic, we're gonna take a quick break here so I can reset the camera, and we're back. Sarah, stop scrolling.
Sorry, I was going through my Instagram stories. I'm sorry.
See, she needed that dopamine hit. Okay,
I really
guys.
did. I was like, what's going on? You know what? I've been sleeping for the past 2 days, so I haven't
Even what?
sleeping.
What do you? Why? Oh, because you're just recovering from the wedding.
Just recovering, yeah.
Yeah, that's what wedding season does to you guys. Literally, you need to take 2 days of breaks.
So I didn't actually take any days off.
Oh, really?
So I worked on Monday and today.
Damn.
What day is it today? Today's
What time
Tuesday,
did you leave
right?
the wedding
Okay.
on Monday or
Like,
Sunday?
Honestly, the hall was like
Monday.
5 minutes from my house.
Oh, right.
Oh,
but I
yeah.
left at like, I want to say like 1:30, 1:45ish.
Wow.
What time they finish?
1:30.
Oh, okay. So literally, when they finish, you left.
Like they were taking down the decorations and stuff, and like the music stopped and everything, and then I was like, all right, I'm head out.
Is it my memory that's bad, or like
Probably.
remember like weddings used to finish at like 3:00 in the morning?
Yeah,
they did. They actually
or
did.
4:00 in the morning or
Okay, not
something
4
like that.
o'clock.
No, that's wild.
Definitely 2 or 3 though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's because like now people are just having weddings on Sundays and people have work the next day,
Yeah.
or it's because we're just old. But like, and I don't know because the people are getting married around the same age as they used to. So
I think maybe halls are also getting stricter with the time. I think back
Yeah.
then, they probably weren't as strict, but
You could slide
Yeah.
them $100 bill. They're like, aye.
exactly.
fine.
But now it's like, okay, no, you want to add an extra hour, $1,000.
exactly.
So it's
But
like,
like
okay.
even then, when the weddings would finish at 3:00, like people would still have energy at 3:00.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Where's the after party?
exactly?
Where are we going next?" I'm like, "Sleep."
Do you guys remember Sebri's wedding?
Yeah.
Huh? How long did that go for?
We didn't sleep.
Oh, really?
We went back to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Y'all changed. Remember that? And then we went out.
I think. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't remember. My memory is so bad.
I kind of remember. I remember it was
It's a little
downtown.
bit of a blur.
Were we there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a time where we were
I
like
don't know.
pulling
We went
up
to Lighthouse.
spots.
Like the entire.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Now I remember that. Yeah.
No, you don't. You just want to fit in.
I just want to fit in.
Exactly.
No, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
No,
Although I feel like I went in my outfit.
So did I.
Yeah,
Full on ball gown.
exactly.
I remember Lighthouse in general. Okay.
R.I.P. to Lighthouse.
I know.
Yeah.
That was a memory in time.
Hey, nah,
moment
after that
in
place, I
time.
got robbed there. Okay.
You did?
Oh yeah.
That was your fault though.
That was your fault.
For leaving thousands of dollars of equipment
It
in
was
your
like
bag.
$1,000
You
or whatever.
dumb.
Okay. I didn't get robbed like physically, but like
Yeah.
someone took it from the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, they smashed it, and it was a company car too,
Yeah.
and it was a company
That was
laptop
the beginning
too.
of the end.
That
Yeah.
really was.
Exactly.
Amir used to have a pimp mobile.
Mhm.
I'm surprised they didn't take it right away. Honestly.
Wait, they let you keep it after that, didn't they?
Yeah, until I
For
got
2
into a
more
couple
times.
crashes.
And then they were like, all right, Amir, we're going to have to revoke your access because
But
you're
no,
costing us too much money.
No, but it wasn't really because of that. It was because they had hired another person who was also using the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
See, that was their scapegoat.
Yeah,
The new person was the
exactly. Yeah.
They're like, how do we tell him without like making him feel sad?
Yeah. No, I knew. I was
It
like,
does get hot in here. Sorry, I just cut you off.
It
but
does.
I'm just like, damn, it's like really hot.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel okay.
wait,
Because
guys,
you're
let's
drinking
breathe.
hot coffee.
Yeah. That could
Yeah,
be
but
it.
you didn't drink it yet. It's
No,
still
I
like
finished
sitting on. Oh, you finished it?
Dang.
You haven't seen me sipping?
No.
No, I
I
didn't
don't see you
see
take a drink
that.
once.
Were you
You
sipping it this
replay
whole
like
time?
all the times I've been
Yeah, I
drinking
literally
it.
don't remember seeing you sipping.
Meanwhile, I'm here being like the typical TikTok iced coffee girl. That's like,
Oh my god.
Literally.
But I do remember like there were certain times where we wouldn't like pull up to a spot. Are we exposing ourselves? Okay, whatever. We would we would pull up to a spot at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., something like that.
You would.
Yeah.
Okay, I would.
We didn't do that.
Yeah,
I would.
I would always be like, drop me off at home.
Yeah. Like
Even
I would.
last week.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna head out. Y'all have
yeah,
fun though.
yeah.
I don't be leaving my house past 9:30 anymore.
But I was tired. That's when I realized that life ain't for me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until this summer.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, that's true. Y'all are still gonna be working.
But I was like,
Mhm.
I felt it when I had to drive home, and I literally had to put my AC until I was shivering
Yeah,
to stay
I've
awake.
had to do that before.
And it's so scary. I'm like, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
The
it's
weird
not
thing is
good.
that like at nighttime, I'm probably the most awake when it comes to driving. Like if I'm going home at nighttime after something, I think it's because I get excited that I'm going home. Because like just socially, I was like, because you guys don't realize like, okay, you know what I realized? People think like I'm an extrovert in small groups.
I was talking about you at a wedding.
There you go.
Because people didn't believe that you were actually an introvert.
Yeah. See, I'm an extrovert in small groups. Okay.
Y'all hear that?
But in bigger weddings, like you guys don't see this, but when I go to a wedding, like my brain is firing at 1,000 miles per hour.
I can tell sometimes.
Because like my brain is like, if I don't say hi to every single person who knows me,
You know?
they're gonna hate me for the rest of their
You
life.
just see Amir sitting down and
He's
be
so
like,
jittery. Yeah.
Yeah.
for no reason. No one said anything. He's like,
I was just gonna say he's like darting around.
yeah, like, bro,
Because
you're
I have
relax,
to.
eat your food.
No, it's because I have to make sure that I say hi to every single person I have interacted
Yeah,
with.
it's like
Amir-
this like plastered smile. And it's like,
You'll see someone walking from across the hall and be like, hey, I'm like, yo, shut up. We don't gotta talk to everybody.
and he feels like he has to hug every single person.
Yes.
I got over that real quick.
I feel so bad, man.
Just a
Because
quick
like
wave.
I feel like if I don't have a good interaction with every single person, they're gonna hate me.
Sorry.
What?
I was,
No, you're fine. Okay, but they're gonna hate me and like they're gonna judge me and they're gonna.
You know what though?
About
The
me.
moms do be judging.
Exactly.
Because the amount of times I had my mom like grab my wrist and being like, you have to go say hi to this person.
Yeah, you
They're
get it.
so mad. You walk past them, you didn't say hi.
Mhm.
I don't know why I'm talking like that. But
You know what I say?
and I would
You know
have
what
to
I
go
say?
back.
Especially at weddings when I don't wear my glasses, I'm like, oh, sorry, I can't see.
Yeah.
Didn't see you there. I'm blind.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and well, I purposely try to just avoid eye contact at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Nah,
that
they
I don't
they
have
know
to.
you.
No, like There are people who I see literally every single Saturday, and if I don't say hi to them every single Saturday, they get mad. So you know that I want to
understand alone, that like, can we just like dissect that for a second?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Unless I'm like your friend, I don't expect for you to say hi to me every single time.
No, it'll be like aunties and stuff like that.
Well, like, why do they get so mad?
I think it's because, like, I don't know.
I think it's them holding on to your child memory, your child. But
we didn't say hi back then either.
Yeah,
I mean, our parents would kind of force us, like, oh, like you're getting so big, like,
It's
some lady. Okay, hopefully she's not watching this, but some lady literally came up to me in the wedding, and like her face looked familiar, but I didn't exactly know who she was. But she just like grabbed, like it was like a hard hug.
Is it the one that pinched or slapped?
Yeah, and then at the end she's like she like gave me like one of those, and I was just I actually like stood back, and I could tell people were watching me, and I was just like, after that I just kind of tapped her shoulder and walked away, because I was just kind of like, I don't like when my dad touches my face, let alone anyone else.
Yeah, especially when you're wearing makeup.
Yeah, I was like, sis, back up. But I don't know. It's just sometimes like I think people just feel entitled to.
Yeah, I let people walk all over me, man.
Yeah, you really do.
Boundaries, Amir.
No, because for me it doesn't cost me anything. I'm like, whatever. Okay.
Honestly, though,
it actually gives me more peace of mind.
I understand how you feel, because like this weekend I felt like that too, but only because it was like my entire dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I gotta say hi to everybody. Yeah. Like, hey guys. And by the end of it, my social battery was at like a -10.
Yeah.
It wasn't even at 0. It was like, I don't want to talk to nobody. So on Monday, like I basically just like blocked off my schedule so I wouldn't have any meetings.
Yeah.
So that I could just like
chill.
Chill, because I was so like for a week straight, and there's like still people at my house, and you're just like, dang, I gotta be on like 24/7. Like the minute I open my eyes, I have to be like ready to go, ready to entertain. And as extroverted as I am, like, I'm tired.
It's draining. Now you know how I feel, man. That's why after that's why after the wedding I get excited, because it means that I don't have to interact with anyone anymore. Not that I don't like it. I love interacting with people, but like on a smaller scale. Or I can have like a better conversation and like be myself more and kind of thing. It's like, I don't know.
You know what I realized? I think I realize now. Like I used to always tell people, like especially on here, I used to be like, yeah, I think I'm an introvert too. I'm actually not.
No.
Because I realized at this wedding that like I was genuinely thriving off of having like 100 different conversations. Like 1 minute I'm like, yeah. Then turn and I'm like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And I think it was one of my like Citra. She's like, how the hell do you like you keep going and you just don't stop, and you're just saying hi to everybody. I'm like, well, if I don't say hi, like who's gonna say hi to them? Who's gonna greet them? Yeah, like you kind of have to.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I greet everyone, but it just drains me.
In the moment, I'm fine. I think it's just after doing it for like 3 days straight, I was like, all right, I'm tired.
It's a lot, and then remembering those conversations alone is just like taxing in itself, because you have to like. If it's a continuous, like let's say you spoke to someone yesterday, you see them again. That's why I never say names. I never say names because I forget everybody's name.
Really?
Yeah, I remember faces better. So I'll interact with that person by face, but then when they remember my name, I'm like, oh shit, I feel bad now. But I think it's because like maybe they don't feel that same drive to like interact with every single person. So they've interacted maybe like 5 people in that wedding, and I've interacted with 200.
That's probably
so it's just a numbers game at that point, right?
That's probably what it is.
So it gets a little crazy. But yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot.
So what I was going to talk about here is I wanted to inform you guys about what's going on the other side of the internet. The internet that I'm a part of that you guys don't really interact with as much, which is like the debate side of TikTok.
The toxic side.
Like where they debate about toxicity and just different things. Andrew Tate doesn't even actually come up that often, but he's somewhat related to this. So do you guys know about the red pill?
I kind of forgot. Like you did explain.
I mentioned it before. No, the red. Well, it's taken from the Matrix.
Oh.
Where like there's the red pill and the blue pill. The blue pill is like if you want to stay in the Matrix.
Yeah.
The red pill is if you want to get out of the Matrix. So essentially, there's these people that consider themselves called red pill, which basically means that like they've seen the Matrix and now they've broken out of the Matrix. And these are basically guys who are like alpha male, like f all the women,
hurt men,
make money. you know, make money, F.
So they're
women,
Bati
basically.
boys.
Huh?
So they're Bati boys.
Well, Bati boy is a gay person.
Yeah, they said F women. So
no, I mean like do them like. I don't want to get demonetized here, but you know what I mean, right?
FBM.
What?
M.
Okay, I get it, and we get it.
You know what I mean, right? No, I don't know if she got it, but
I think she got it.
You got it? Okay.
I just said the acronym. I can't.
Okay, but yeah, so they're the most prominent figure of this, and I think this will probably make it easier to remember, is Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Whatever he was spewing was basically red pill stuff, right? And then there was another person who was big in the community called Sneeko, who was like his predecessor, or like someone who was very influenced by him. And when Andrew Tate went into...
Is that the Asian guy?
Yeah, he's like half Asian, half black.
I've never even heard of this guy in my
I only
life.
know him through Waleed.
Oh. There you go. So yeah, he was interacting with him a few times. And they were super aggressive on this red pill stuff, like, you know, make money, all that kind of stuff. And recently, I guess after Andrew Tate, he converted to Islam.
Yeah.
Like... They were like, you know, still very aggressive towards that. And ironically enough, like, even though a lot of these statements they were saying were very antithetical to Islam.
I don't think that's a word.
Is that not a word? Yeah, it is. So. Search it up. Antithetical is a word, Sarah.
I never heard
just
that
say
word.
It's
but
like
it could be.
It's like the antithesis of Islam. Like it goes against a lot of things that we would typically preach. There was a lot of Muslim men who were part of this group. But after Andrew Tate converted, they've been slowly starting to like shift towards more of like Islamic ideal.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So it's starting to like be like, you know what? This red pill stuff isn't really what?
It is a word.
It is a word. What I say, okay?
Whatever.
But they've been shifting to more of like an Islamic ideal of lifestyle. And unfortunately, like the reason they got into it is because of the whole 4 wives thing. But you know, people come into Islam in a different way here and there. But now there's this clash between like the red pill and the people who are espousing like more Islamic views. And ironically enough, Sneeko, who's a big red pill guy, converted to Islam.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, right?
I don't know who he is, but good for him.
But like, of course, he's still like learning. And a lot of things he say are still like, you know, kind of like, okay, buddy, you know, you still need to learn a little bit more.
I mean, I don't know much about him,
but that was a huge thing recently that happened where he just came out and said, yeah, I've converted to Islam. And funny enough, like now he's actually going on these podcasts he used to go on, like something the podcast called Fresh and Fit, who is super red pill, and he's actually like now almost anti-red pill, debating them more and like pushing back more on these ideas that he used to espouse himself only like 6 months ago.
And you know what I say to that?
What?
He found you lost and guided you.
Oh, I was going to say Allah guides whoever he was.
Which means, okay, the red pill people, they're very lost. And inshallah, Allah will guide them.
Exactly.
And clearly, I mean, the 2 spokespeople, I guess, of that community were guided.
So that was something that I wanted to bring up because it's a huge thing in that community. And so I guess this is something to show you that, like, even though, because when we first mentioned it, we were very, like, anti this like idea of like trying to tie Islam with the red pill. But now it seems to have like turned on them, where a lot of these red pill people are like, oh shoot, this is actually not really working in our favor, the people who made money off of this. And it's actually pushing a lot of these people to look into Islam more. And like people clearly, like if the 2 main guys of red pill have converted to Islam at this point, like what does that say about what's going to be happening in the future, right? But I hope that they start to like preach the good parts of Islam, or not the good part, like the real parts of Islam. I mean,
Andrew and Sneeko.
Yeah, exactly, because they are still very much on that like money is very important and all of that, which it is in these days. But like that's not what Islam is mostly about. Yeah, it's more about serving the people than serving yourself, and I think that's like their next evolution on what's going to be happening in the community. Because right now they're still very much pushing the whole serving yourself thing.
I think the more, you know, they're taught about the way the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like, you know, was raised and grew up, and his mannerisms, I think that's the best way of them, you know, kind of like leaving those toxic mentality or whatever, toxic mind, you know, their toxic mindset behind. Yeah. Because I think like people will just take things out of context in Islam, be like, you know, like, oh yeah, you're allowed 4 wives, but they don't know, okay, but if you have 4 wives, you have to make sure you're able to have that.
Exactly.
Like, it's not just any regular man down the street. Like, you have obligations. Right. Yeah, technically you could take that, but now you're failing in all your obligations. So like, you know, so learning through the Prophet's ways, you know, hopefully they actually look into that, and like whoever their teachers are.
Yeah. And a lot of times when they mention the multiple wives thing, they're like saying, look, all these scholars had multiple wives, and like the prophets had multiple wives. And at the same time, you're like, okay, I don't know your state, but like, I'm pretty sure you're not a wali.
Exactly.
You're not.
It's not just that. You also have to think about like the reason and the wisdom behind having multiple wives. You know, like we obviously now know that there are more women than men on this earth. And when you think about like men who have multiple wives, one, they have to provide for them financially. They have to fulfill all of her obligations. Obligations, because there's more than one. 2, they have to treat them all equally. Yeah, a man may not necessarily be obligated to tell the first wife, like, hey, I'm about to marry a second one. But you also shouldn't be breaking your wife's heart. Like, think about it in
there's a lot of technicalities.
Exactly,
too. It's not just black and white.
It's always them, like... Yeah, the guys who can't afford to even have one wife that are like, oh, I want to have 4 wives. Exactly. Okay, buddy, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Like, I'm pretty sure 90% of the audiences that listen to these red pill people who are talking about all these like multiple wives things, like they probably haven't even had like a prospect of a wife.
Yeah. Damn, shots fired.
They're probably not even close to that.
You know what it is?
Probably like 15, 16.
It's men that want to feel empowered.
I think it's a fantasy.
It is. They're living out a fantasy there.
Yeah, like ideally in an ideal world, you'd have the means to sustain, maintain 4 households. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because those who think that they can have 4 wives, you can't just buy a 4-bedroom house and be like, all right, 1 bedroom for each of you.
Like, you trying to buy 4 different houses when you can't even afford a rented condo, like, or apartment.
And when you listen, and when you listen to the people who are like espousing or like they're preaching these things about like multiple wives or like how to treat women, a lot of times, like, just from hearing them, you know that they probably haven't interacted with a woman. It sounds like they haven't interacted with a woman in years, and like they don't know how women really are, and they don't know how to really treat a woman. Yeah. So either taking advice from these guys who have no experience at all with the game, like half of them aren't married. I think one of the main guys, there's this guy on a podcast called Fresh and Fit, and he's always talking about relationships, how to treat women, how to get as many women as you want.
He's Sudanese.
You know him, right?
Yeah,
Myron.
His name's Myron?
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I've seen like the beef he had with that one girl.
Yeah, he's Sudanese himself.
Yeah, he's Sudanese.
He has an Islamic background.
Oh, so he's Muslim?
I don't know.
Oh.
He's never said.
Oh.
I think he said at one point that like he is Muslim, but like he's living his life out now how he wants, and in the future when he gets older he'll get back to like the deen and all that stuff. I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
may Allah guide him.
Yeah, may Allah guide him.
Yeah, that's all I can say.
But the funny thing about that guy is that he's never actually been in a relationship. Like any long-term, any relationship at all.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, and that's
he's giving advice to all these guys about relationships.
But that's why I get weary. Like when we are asked to talk about marriage and relationships, I'm like, damn, like we both single. What y'all want to know? Like, I don't know how much we can really say on it.
Exactly.
So this guy who's like fully preaching, like, where are you getting your information if you've never been?
Funny enough, the guy that they look up to, who's made multiple books on like the red pill and like how to be a high value man and all that stuff, he's been married for 30 years and he's had one woman, one wife, and it's not like an open relationship or anything like that. So his idea of what the relationship is and how it works is from like 30 years ago experience. And times have changed now. He was married before the internet was a big thing.
Right.
He was married before like there's all these new ways of communicating and all that. Right. He's basically the guy they all look up to.
Yeah.
And recently, actually, funny enough, that same guy, he was like 40, 50 years old. He like put out a list saying like, here's 8 things you can do to be like a high value man. And number 3 on the list, guess what it was?
What?
He's like, get a vasectomy in your early 20s. So you have no chances of like getting someone pregnant. And I think like the first 2 things, or one of them was like, don't build a family. and don't form relationships and don't build a family.
He's low-key smart. You know why?
What?
He's like, these men shouldn't be breeding. That's what his thought process.
If you're taking that advice, honestly, I don't know, but it's and like the guy I mentioned earlier, the Myron and his other friend on the show, or the guy, his co-host, they like, because they look up to this guy and they don't want to go against him, like they were saying, oh yeah, these are some good points or whatever, but they lost a lot of people that followed them because of that third point of like getting a vasectomy. Is like, why would you like
that's so strange.
Intentionally sterilize yourself, and then the chances of being able to reverse a vasectomy, I think like after 10 years it's like 90% failure rate, and like even when you first get it, it's like 45 to 35% failure rate. So they're literally telling their whole audience to like sterilize themselves. That's
wild.
Yeah.
If people actually listen to them.
Unfortunately, millions of people do.
No way.
But now, because of this schism where like Sneeko recently came out as becoming Muslim and went on to their show afterwards and started pushing back, because before because he was so like deep in the red pill, he wasn't really pushing back on a lot of these points. But now that he's kind of like seen the light, essentially, he's starting to push back a lot more and point out all the ridiculousness of what they're saying. So yeah, how
did they feel about it though? Because I didn't listen to this podcast. Like when Sneeko came back as a Muslim and he's now pushing back, like
they still think that he's part of the red pill, because Sneeko says that he's like somewhat still in that realm, but he's willing to push back more and like point out the flaws in it. But they're so like broken from being, how you're just stuck in an ideology where you can't even think about there being another option or the other possibilities, that they kind of just like repeat the same things they've been saying for the past few years and don't have a real good rebuttal to it.
Men like that infuriate me.
I know.
Like actually infuriate me.
Yeah. And unfortunately, but now they're like slowly getting exposed. Well, they are exposed for it because of what the guy they look up to said, that 50-year-old dude, and they're trying to defend him, but like they realize that they can't really defend it.
I'm sure if this Myron guy got into a committed relationship, he wouldn't be part of the red pill community anymore.
Yeah, they're stuck serving themselves right now, right?
Because they have no other choice.
Yeah, and well, also because they have an incentive. They're making money off of this. They're making millions of dollars off of this.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because regardless of if they ever back out of it, they probably think that they will lose
their
followers,
audience.
lose their audience, therefore lose the money.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps them in that ideology. They don't even want to see the truth. They want to stay blind.
Exactly.
Because it's making them a lot of money.
Is it worth it though?
I mean, for some people, capitalism is that runs.
That's true.
Yeah, people will sell
for them.
Anything, like, well,
as they say, selling like, your soul.
Yeah. Like, because they're essentially like the OnlyFans girls. Like if they were like what do you call it again?
I guess
they're like the OnlyFans girls of like the men's world, if that makes sense. Like they're selling their dignity, they're selling their soul, I guess, to be able to make money off of this. Just like how, But that's a whole other thing too, But yeah, so if you guys have any, thoughts about what we've been mentioning today, whether it comes to weddings, red pill.
Wait, I have one question.
What happened?
Though. Are you more just curious? That's why your feed is catered to like that pill, or are you actually in it? Like, was wanting?
Oh no, it's because I follow another guy named Destiny, who debates these guys.
Oh, okay.
And he posts videos with them. So whenever he gets onto their page, he like reposts their podcast, so I get it that way.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and he's like really pushy. He hates the red pill, so because of that, I'm exposed to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and of course you have like Abba and Preach, who is another duo YouTuber, a YouTube crew, I guess, who also like makes videos where they kind of go against or break down their arguments, and that's how I'm exposed to it. So don't worry, I'm not part of the world. I'm actually on the opposite side.
We hear you.
That's why I can point out a lot of the flaws in their stuff. Okay. So again, thank you guys for listening. We didn't mention this before, but make sure to subscribe.
We're so close to 5,000 subscribers. I just have to say, which is wild because we literally just did our giveaway
for 3,000.
For 3,000, and y'all just continue to show up. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate you.
I want to say a quick thank you to everyone who left such like amazing comments under
the
video we did with Yassine. That was like really, really sweet, and that just made us very happy.
Yeah, a lot of people were a little
What?
They're a little salty when I called them nosy. You're not nosy. It's just you love Aisha. We love her too. And why not have her share her news on our channel, where it's kind of like, you know, her second home, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, guys. Yeah, remember to subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all our socials. Follow. You probably
Aisha
already
Haroon.
do. You probably already do. Follow Aisha Haroon.
They probably already do.
Subscribe to her channel if you don't already. And yeah, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.